Hi everyone, this is Peter McPhail with Lifestyle Properties Maine. On today's episode, we are here with longtime real estate attorney Charlie Cox, and we're going to be talking about if you're looking to buy real estate in Maine, Maine specifically, we're going to be covering different deed types. And for instance, hey, I'm not buying that property unless I get a warranty deed. But Charlie, I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today.
Thank you.
Our family, my dad's known you since the 80s, so give me a little bit of background on you.
My father was a real estate attorney from the mid 60s on. I graduated from law school in 1987. I was doing real estate in the registry before then. And I've got about 37 years now right in the middle Penobscot County, Tri-County area, they call it, the surrounding counties, doing real estate. Home mortgages, large timber purchases, right-of-ways, all that kind of stuff.
So there isn't much you haven't seen in those years you've been practicing.
Well, you see new stuff every day, but I've seen a lot, yeah.
I'm sure you have. So I've been in the real estate business 32 years, nowhere as close to as long as you've been practicing law. But I know when I first got in the business, a lot of buyers, even today, some of the old school buyers I see, hey, if I don't get a warranty deed with this property, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. That's very common, and I guess I'd explain it starting this way. If you were to buy a truck offline, a used vehicle, and it may get delivered to you, and you get the keys, and you take control of it, and you drive it around for 2 or 3 years, you've got all the incidents of ownership. You sure feel like the owner. But everyone understands that if they didn't get the title certificate, eventually, someday, they'd go to trade that truck or sell that truck, and the new buyer or the dealer would say, "Where's your title?" And people would say, "Well, I've had this for 4 years, and I'm the one that drives it. No one else drives it, but you don't have the title." That's going to affect your marketability. That's going to affect your ability for that truck to move in the market. And it's the same with title to properties. You may well take possession of the property. You might get the keys. You're mowing the lawn. You're shoveling the snow. You've got all the incidents of ownership. But someday, you go to either borrow money from a bank or you go to sell the property, and somebody says the title's bad. So that's really the essence of what title attorneys do, is keep somebody from being in that position. You can imagine that usually somebody's had their property 10, 15 years. They find a place across town they'd rather have. They put their old property up for sale. They're all excited to get rid of it and get the new place. It's not a good time to have the title problems. And that's essentially when you buy property, that's what you want to make sure is that you've got good title. Now, the warranty deed story. It's just an old wives' tale. When somebody gives you a warranty deed, you've heard the phrase, "I'll give you a deed to the Brooklyn Bridge." I mean, it's just words on paper, Peter. I mean, I can sit down right now at my desk and write you a deed to the Brooklyn Bridge, and it'll literally say, "I, Charlie Cox, deed the Brooklyn Bridge to Peter McPhail," but I don't own the Brooklyn Bridge. So a warranty deed isn't some sort of magical document that comes out of, a machine, and the machine only makes it if there's good title. What a warranty deed is the person giving you the deed is saying, I'm granting you this property. And in addition to that, I am personally telling you that it's got good title, and if it doesn't, you can come back on me. Well, if you think about it, the person might have passed away. The person may not have enough assets. So, yeah, you've got them warranting to stand behind it, but how good is that, especially 10, 15, 20 years down the road? So, nowadays, we have basically, I'll revert a little bit and say we have 3 different types of deeds. You've got a quick claim deed, which is an as-is sale, right? I'll give you whatever I have, but what it is up to you. I'm not going to stand behind it. I'm not going to warranty it.
Charlie, let me cut in there real quick. Are there certain types of transactions you're more apt to see a quick claim deed, or is there certain types of transactions where you might see that? Like, let's say a bank foreclosure. What are they typically conveying on a bank foreclosure?
You're going to get a quick claim deed, and that's an interesting point. I guarantee you, if you take the 5 most expensive properties in your town, wherever you happen to be, and you look those deeds up, they're going to be quick claim deeds. Wealthy people, people with a lot of assets, companies that deal with a lot of real estate and have a lot of assets, never give a warranty deed. They're always going to give a quick claim deed. So if you were to look at the deed to Boston Gardens, for example, I can guarantee you that's a quick claim deed. So it's much more common when you're talking a bigger sale. I handle a lot of big timber sales.
Right.
Somebody purchasing 5,000-6,000 acres, that's going to be a quick claim deed.
Yeah. All right, Charlie. Let's talk about the deed types here in the state of Maine.
Well, you have 3 basic deeds. You have a quick claim deed, and in a quick claim deed, there's no warranty whatsoever. The person is just saying, whatever I have, I convey to you what it is. I'm not representing whether it's good, bad, more acreage, less acreage. The second type of deed that's very common, and in Maine we call it a quick claim deed with covenant. And that is where the owner says, I'm selling to you, and what I will guarantee you is that I didn't do anything to mess up the title while I had it. A warranty deed, the problem with it, it warrants all the way back in time. So with the quick claim deed, they're limiting the warranty. In a lot of states, they call that a special warranty deed. There's a lot of different customs in the states, but here in Maine, we call that a quick claim with covenant. The third and final type of deed is a warranty deed. And as I was talking about earlier, a warranty deed is when the buyer is saying to you, I'm giving you what I have, and I'm guaranteeing you that I have good title to this. If I don't have good title of it, you can sue me.
So the seller's saying, I'm warrantying this puppy back to the Stone Age, beginning of time.
Correct. And you can see why large companies or people that deal with a lot of real estate don't want to do that, because if you're giving 50 deeds a year instead of 1 or 2,
Right.
your chances of something happening would go up. But any of those deeds are fine. They'll all give exactly what the person has. It's just what kind of warranty that a seller is giving you when they do that. There's also, I'll just briefly mention, you hear the term release deed. It's really the same as a quick claim deed.
Okay.
It's just, there's a slight difference, but I won't get into it here, but it's basically the same. I'm giving you whatever I have, and that's all I'm
If
giving.
anything at all, whatever I have, I'm conveying to you.
Correct.
So one of the issues that I have seen is I've seen people say, "Hey, my neighbor wants to sell me this property. We're going to do the deal. We don't even hire a title attorney," and I have seen some major problems with that. They say, "What do you mean the title's not good to that when they go to sell it?" So how does somebody, somebody's trying to save a few $100 or $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 or so, and they're skipping that title insurance piece. So let's jump into that. I mean, if I'm a buyer and you're my real estate attorney and I'm coming to you and I've got this deal and here's a quick claim deed, should I buy this property? What's the next step for me?
Well, I would answer that question like this. I think anybody who's ever bought in real estate, there's an attorney in the background somewhere. And if you go to get a bank loan, there's an attorney back there. That should tell everybody something. The bank isn't hiring the attorney because they like to hire the attorney. Until about 20 years ago, it was really common for the attorneys to certify the title. So you do get a warranty. You take a quick claim, but the attorney certifies the title. He tells you everything's okay. What is the warranty? It's the attorney's malpractice insurance. So you've got that protection. In the last 20 years or so, what's become more prevalent is what's called title insurance. And really, I think you touch on a valid point, Peter, which is title insurance should always be purchased whenever you get a piece of property. Now, I mentioned about the example of a truck. In Florida, they actually have title certificates for each parcel of real estate, much like a vehicle, because they've got the whole state mapped out. They've got it all lotted out. Here in Maine, in the wilderness and outside the cities, things aren't mapped out, and you can't do that. So the title is judged, and in most areas of the country this is true, not from one certificate, but by somebody going to the registry and checking all the records back. There's some standards. You have to go back generally 40 years, and making sure that the records are in order, and then judging those records and giving you marketable title. Because as I said, the last thing in the world you want to do, as you said, Peter, you buy 2 acres from your neighbor, you give him $10,000, you go to sell the house later, and that piece you got from the neighbor has a problem. And it usually comes at the worst time.
Yeah.
When you're getting ready to mortgage or you're getting ready to sell. Now, what title insurance does is ensure your marketability, your ability of your deed to move in the market. That's what's most important. As I said, you'll have those incidents of ownership. You'll get use and occupation of the property. But real estate's usually a pretty big investment for people, and you want to make sure that when you go to move that property on, you want your deed to move in the market, either by mortgage or by sale. You want to make sure you're protected. So if it doesn't move in the market and you've purchased title insurance, you submit a claim to the title insurance company and they have to fix it or pay your loss. You only pay the premium once. When you look at the cost of it, which is about $350 per thousand on the value of the property, you only pay it that once. Essentially, I find, in a lot of my closings, I like to give the people, the buyers in particular, the big picture, because I think that once people have the big picture, and that's really what I'm trying to do today, and the big picture is don't buy real estate unless, in Maine anyways, I can tell you, unless you get title insurance, in my opinion, or at the very least, you hire an attorney who tells you that the title is fine, because otherwise you really don't know what you're getting. You cannot judge it by the words on that deed. You have to judge it by what's in the registry of deeds.
And if I'm representing a buyer, I'm working for their best interest. I am surely going to tell them, look, I don't care what kind of deed that you are getting. Purchase the title insurance. It's a one-time deal, and I'm assuming that's going to protect me from my entire ownership. So if I have an issue, like you said, I file a claim, and then I have a big insurance company to fall back on.
Yeah, and the way I explain it to people is this, and I've had that same experience where people will come, I'm involved in a real estate transaction, and my buyer will just flat out say, I'm not taking a quitclaim deed. Well, once I explain to them that I've got malpractice insurance that's on the line, and you're going to have title insurance, why do you want to go chase the poor buyer 10 years later?
Or the seller, poor seller.
Seller, yeah. Why would you want to bother the seller 10 years later? You'd go to your title insurance company, you'd go to your attorney, and they're the ones that have put their reputation on the line and guaranteed you basically that you have a marketable title, you have a deed that'll move in the market.
Yeah.
So nobody should be concerned about the type of deed they're getting, is the lesson, I think. But everyone should seriously think about title insurance.
Absolutely. I think if I know the properties that I've bought with my brother Phil, I mean, the deed type to me was irrelevant. But my attorney saying, hey, you've got good title, marketable title, and you can get title insurance. That was always key.
It's what it's all about, right? Yeah. That marketability. You need that deed to move on down the market when you're ready to move on.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining us today, guys. I hope you found this video informative. If you're looking to purchase real estate in Maine, need some title work done, reach out to Charlie's office, and I'm sure they'd be glad to help. Again, Peter McPhail with Lifestyle Properties of Maine. Hope to see you guys again real soon.